Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Blue Bud Wisdom Show, a podcast created to share simple tools to break you free from the mind chatter, reclaim your divinity, and support your journey to freedom and happiness. I'm your host, Ellyn Katherine, spiritual wealth catalyst and healer. Now let's jump into your dose of ancient wisdom. Hey everyone, I was inspired to go on live now. I'm actually sitting in my car at the moment, looking at the trees. I went to a nearby park and I took a walk outside while I was listening to this Be on TV challenge. And I found it to be really interesting because the first day, which I was listening to the replay of, was about how to look at your wins. And it kind of just starts off the energy of that group to give you the confidence and get you going and get you ready to be on TV. And I loved that they were talking about all these amazing things and the qualities. And one thing that they said was creating a badass list. And I thought that was really interesting, but then I heard my ego tell me, oh, you don't need that. You already know your wins. And again, the internal dialogue started where the other part of me was like, no, I'm not listening to you because I think we need this list. And it was just interesting because I literally pushed myself into making this list because at first I was like, oh, I already know what it is. Whatever, it's not a big deal. But it is. It really is a big deal because number one, what they were saying was making this badass list actually will help you to think back and realize when you took your power, when you felt so amazing, when something so great that you maybe never thought was going to happen, or you pushed yourself through it to make it happen. And you see it on paper as a reminder for yourself that you have accomplished so much more than what you think. Because a lot of the times, we're just playing stories in our head of all the crazy stuff that happened or all the negative things that happened. Because when people ask, hey, what's up? How is your life? What's going on? Most of the time, we're talking about the negative things because they take up so much space in our hearts, because we're hurt by them, because we haven't processed them in the way of as an experience versus being something that happened to us. And then it just ends up being this negative thing that happens over and over again in different forms and in different ways because we haven't really cleared that out. So why this came up was because I want you, my listeners, to take this time and write a badass list for yourself. And remember all the amazing things that you have accomplished in your life. All the amazing little challenges that you had to go through, that you came out as a champion. So for me, like I mentioned in my previous podcast episode, resigning from my job, from the person I was working for part-time as, helping her out with her website and, making sure that she has a nice platform, a system that people can easily be able to book their appointments and not go through the assistant all the time or emails because emails get lost. I tried to build a system for her. Well, I didn't try. I built a nice system for her. And me leaving was a huge step in taking my power back. And I remember when I sent the resignation email, I felt so elated. It was just like this weight just got lifted off of my shoulders. And my badass part, I have a lot on my list. I wrote 10 things, but that was one of them. And I'm sharing that again because I just want to remind you how amazing it could feel when you take your power back, when you know deep down inside that something doesn't feel right. Being in that working relationship When I realized that it wasn't right for me anymore, and I heard that calling of ending it, I didn't take the action right away. But as I saw things were getting worse, when I was being accused of being jealous or competitive with her, by her, I felt, all right, now it's time. Now it's time to cut the ties. I'm doing this now. So taking the power back felt so amazing. And I'm sure if you can look at situations or experiences that you have had or experiencing currently, and you're feeling powerless, your body is reacting. Your body's way of telling you, hey, there's something that needs to happen. Like anxious feeling, the constant mind chatter about it. These are all symptoms of something not feeling right, and allowing you to explore that deeper. And the other amazing part about me feeling like a badass in this particular situation was that I was able to look at this experience as exactly that, as an experience, and say, oh, wow, well, I see that this is playing out forgiveness, which is one of the life lessons. I'm just going to look at her and forgive her because she's going through her own experience and she's playing out her role. She's playing her role as the person that was going to partake in me feeling powerless so that I can take my power back. So why do I have to feel angry towards this person? Why do I need to feel any type of negative emotions about her if I am taking my power back? And that to me felt like one of the most badass moments, because in my past experiences, when I truly felt I had to leave and I didn't leave, I stayed and continued to accept the abuse from my past bosses or from my employers. It actually started off as my peers. Then it went to my team actually partaking in that role. And then because I didn't listen to what the actual life lesson was, it started getting harder and harder. And then it was my bosses that were partaking in this. So then when my bosses started doing this, I felt like I had no one to turn to anymore, because now if my bosses don't believe in me and I feel so powerless from them, how am I going to be able to move forward? So when I started actually realizing this, it just made me feel so free because I took it in my own hands. When I wanted to quit in my previous job, it was already too late for me because he had already fired me. And even though it felt good to leave, it wasn't my original action. It was a decision that I made, but I didn't take the action in time for me to be able to feel that freedom and power back. I wasn't fully empowered because I didn't get to do that particular action that was going to make me feel like I had my power back. The universe did it for me. So another badass moment that I had was when I was 9. I went on stage to sing, and I am not a singer, but I went on stage at a talent show in camp at that age because I loved the song. And I'll tell you, I did throw up before I went on stage, but I still pushed myself through. And I remember feeling so amazed by the response that I was getting from the audience, because I thought that I was terrible. But it turns out that they appreciated what I sang. So, I'm looking at all the things that I've done in my life, and these are the ones that felt like it was strong. Because even when you're a child, it's still you. You're still the same person. You just are a different age. So I would urge you to look at everything that you've accomplished or where you felt like a badass, because it's going to make you look at your life and say, wow, I really can do this. And wow, I really do have so much to celebrate in my life because I've gone through so much, or I've dealt with so much. And looking at everything that comes in your life now will make you realize that you have the confidence to keep going. And speaking of keeping going, that was another big thing for me because several years ago, I was very, very sad that I almost committed suicide. I was not happy with the way things were going in my life. I was in so much emotional pain. And I had a really big argument with my family, my mother, and my sister took me into her apartment, her studio apartment. I slept next to her for a couple of months. And at that time, it was a really, really low period for me where I just was in so much pain that I didn't want to live anymore. And I had the tools, I had the idea, I knew everything I was going to do. And at that moment, I decided that I wanted out. It was a decision that I made to leave. And then right before I did anything, this feeling of love and even regret, which was weird, came to me. And I decided that I did not want my sister to wake up to see her sister dead in her apartment. I knew that that was going to cause so much damage to her. So the badass thing that I did was decide to live and continue my life and to just change my life. And this was all before I started my spiritual path. And it was probably also the reason why I might have started it. But I thought that was a really interesting moment that came up as I was writing this badass list. And I share that with you because if you may have been feeling that way, I want you to understand that the feeling of just wanting to give up and wanting to just end it all and just move on and just go back home and not doing that makes you such a huge badass, because you have made such an important decision to come back to Earth. You reincarnated on this planet. And FYI, I did not know that when this happened. I wasn't down my spiritual path at this point, but I just knew that I didn't want to hurt the person that would see me or dead corpse by her, and just having that feeling and thought of, oh my God, I'm going to be hurting this other person, and how are they going to respond, how are they going to feel? It just made me not want to take that upon myself and just stay and work through it. So I feel it's important for you to know that it is a big badass moment when you decide not to hurt yourself. It's a badass moment when you decide to wake up every morning and feel different and do something different. It's a badass moment when you take the reins of your life in quote unquote your own hands with the divine path and the divine guidance helping you, so that you can be in somewhat control, but not so much, because you're allowing the free flow in your life. And I talk about trust and surrender in my other episodes, but I really want you guys to make this badass list, because honestly, when I heard this live stream, I thought right away, oh my God, I need to share this with my listeners. I need these people to understand that having a badass list is actually an amazing idea, because it really does help to give you that that confidence in yourself to keep pushing through, and the confidence in yourself to be able to take it to the next level, to take your life and be able to use all the tools that you have to make it better, to actually be able to make your dream of whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're feeling so deep at your core, to actually make it happen. So I am welcoming all of you to email me what your badass list is, because I'm so I really love for you guys to be able to do this for yourselves. And if you just take that time, it literally took me maybe 15 minutes just to think of the 10 things. And there could be more if I wanted to look at more. But I got my 10 things, and I wanted to hop on here and say how amazing it was for me to create that list. It felt so amazing. It made me feel so powerful, because even when I was, I'm still working on putting the Goddess Unleashed game program together. And when I was looking at the modules and how I was creating it, I thought to myself, oh, well, I think I need to give more information about this topic and this topic and this topic. And then I thought to myself, well, I didn't know all that deep information prior to getting my transformation. And I honestly didn't even know how much I transformed. I knew that I transformed my energy. But I asked my husband, what was the transformation, if you see any, that I've had over this last few months that I've been really honing in and working on my energy? And he said, well, you're less angry. You are more tolerable towards me and my criticisms. And he criticizes a lot. But that's his own journey that he's working with. And that's, again, something that helps me to deal with his criticisms. And I don't explode. He said that I don't explode as I used to. And I thought, wow, I didn't even realize for myself how much of a transformation I've had. And even my business coach was telling me, you have no idea how much you've changed. You have to look at your wins. Look at your wins and look at how amazing how far you've come. How amazing you've gone through whatever it is, what transformations you've gone through over the last couple of months. That's your goddess game. You don't need more information. And I thought, wow, yeah. It's the ego that's getting in the way. It just wants to be perfect. And you're never going to be perfect. Perfect is just a word that was made up by the humans to make it sound like there is such thing, but there isn't. There is nothing that's going to be perfect. There's always going to be room for growth, room to make things better, some kind of improvements. So perfect is not a thing. And I invite you to look at your life and just make that inventory of your badass to see how far you've come, to see what you've overcome, to see how different you are, and really celebrate those moments so that you know that you have more to give and you've learned so much, and that being perfect is not a thing. I also wanted to urge you to please make this list and send it to me. Have communication with me, because I want to know who you are. I want to know how I can help you, how I can serve you. What other topics do you want to know about? What other things can I help you with? What other challenges can I help you with? So, I feel like I just went on a tangent. I'm not sure how that sparked, but I do hope that you feel some sense of urgency in writing this list, especially now if you're feeling like you're losing confidence because of everything that's going on, or if you just feel like you need something to make you happier, this will definitely do that. Making this badass list, looking at it every time. You can also make it on your phone so that every time when you feel down, you could read it and just feel that power in you again. I'm really excited about the game. So I will give you more information as soon as it's up. This is the game that I created as a launch, which was like a 5-day free event, and then I charged a little bit of a fee to join the event after a couple of months because I wanted people to feel invested. But what I realized about this game, 5 days was definitely not enough to really put the transformation together. And I decided to make it a program because I know how powerful this game is. My husband sees what I've done in my own life. And being that he's so critical, the fact that he was able to tell me what he saw in me just made me understand how powerful this, not even understand because I knew that before, but it made me remember how powerful this game is. And I'm just so excited because I'm putting the finishing touches together, and I'm so excited to actually launch this out because this is the program that will bring transformation to your life. It will make you feel much more happier in your life because you go from being a warrior, someone who's fighting to survive, someone who is needing some kind of hope to move forward. And you go from that place to being a goddess, fully standing in your power, fully aware of what it is you're creating on a daily basis, and ready to conquer your life, your world in your own way, and be able to go out there and actually fulfill your divine purpose, your divine mission. That's the power of the game. So I really look forward to reading the emails, look forward to your feedback, any questions you may have. I'm around to answer them. My email is hello@ellynkatherine.com, Ellyn as ELLYN, Katherine.com. And until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead, and tune in next week. Bye. Thanks for joining me this week on the Bluebird Wisdom Podcast. Make sure to visit my website, EllynKatherine.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or via RSS so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, be sure to take a moment and give me a 5-star rating on iTunes and share or tell your friends about the show. I'd love to share the wisdom further, and your help will make that happen. Be sure to tune in next week for my next episode.